you guys start working for the NHS?
I started in 2006. May 2006 I started.
2000.
Yeah, I'll say, yeah, you started.
You started working for the NHS in the year 2000, so you were 4.
Yeah.
When I was working in path labs in Ipswich Hospital.
So I started working for Chris
Oh.
in NHS. That was one of my,
Yeah.
not my first, but one of my first jobs.
Yeah, so what happened was I started in the NHS in 2000 and working in labs and developed a real issue with blood, which massively career limiting if you're working frontline in the NHS. And so I had to step back and I became the IT manager for the pathology service.
Because your background's labs.
My degree was in molecular biology and genetics.
Okay.
So yeah, I did a genetics degree, went and worked in a path lab. Then part of my degree was bioinformatics. It was like really sort of a really new fledgling idea when I was at university. This concept of taking all of the genetic information and putting it into a database that you could then query. So the Human Genome Project wasn't complete when I was still at university. It was an ongoing project at that point. And so I went from pathology into doing the IT side of pathology, and then stepped out of that and worked in IT just in general in the NHS. And 6 years later I was the head of performance for a hospital out in Slough. And this new thing came out in the NHS, which was 18 weeks, which is that every patient has to be treated within 18 weeks of a referral from a GP. So if you've got something wrong with you, you get referred to a hospital for that to be treated. The hospital's got 18 weeks from the point at which they receive that referral to actually treat your illness.
Any first treatment has to be within 18 weeks. That includes all the diagnostics, all your checks and tests and everything.
So you go back and forth to the consultant a few times for them to take a history, to do a test, to talk to you. But then if you need surgery, that surgery has to happen within 18 weeks. If you need an injection, if you need drugs, you have to be on that course of drugs by 18 weeks. But the problem is the NHS has never done that. They've never treated the referral to treatment as a whole pathway before. So there was lots of disparate siloed data sets. There was referrals data, there was outpatient data, there was diagnostic data, there was inpatient data, and they were all completely not linked together at all. So we worked on some. So this is one of the first times I ever used it wasn't machine learning back then. It was we were writing algorithms to try and come up with a probability that two events were in the same pathway. And so we did a lot of work just looping SQL statements to go back and say, if this is that, then give it a little bit more weighting, and then if this is true, then give it more weighting, and then it comes together and say there's a 90% chance that this pathway is a pathway.
So trying to seek for the correlation between the two.
Yeah, so looking for event correlations. But we got to a point where we went, okay, we've managed to do 60% of our data, but there's 40% which is a bit, we haven't got a clue what's going on. Or we've got some correlations, but they're not high enough correlations for us to say, yeah, that's definitely.
What sort of accuracy did you have?
Sorry?
What sort of accuracy did you guys have with it?
It wasn't bad. The fact that it was starting with completely disparate data, and I would say 60% we managed to link up.
From different systems and everything as well.
Yeah,
totally different systems.
Managed to link up 60% just on, not on the first pass. We were sort of 4 or 5 months down developing these algorithms as we went. But then I got to a point where I needed people to eyeball them. So we called them the validation team. We called them. And so I went out and found as many people as I could that I thought had the requisite knowledge. So I contacted Anoop because he was doing chemical engineering as a degree, and I knew him and I knew he was smart. And so chemical engineering processes, it's linking bits together, coming up with a pathway. And yeah, sure enough, he took to it like a duck to water. Another guy that I brought in was Wasim, who you probably met through CloudStream.
Yeah, definitely.
So he was a statistician. He was at the university doing stats at the time, and I said, yeah, I need someone who can do some statistical stuff on our algorithms to say, look, are we getting real matches, and also to do a bit of the the pathway mapping, and again he just took to it brilliantly. And then there was Edgar's, who's gone on to be an incredible JavaScript. He's an entrepreneur. He runs a company out in Latvia. I won't say what they do because we'll talk about it. It's not ever being recorded. And there's Artie, who's gone on to be a marketing analyst in Geneva. And what was the young girl's gone on to be a doctor? What was her name?
Because she was a doctor at Wexham Park for a bit, wasn't she? What's her name?
I don't know, it was looking after my time after I left. But yeah, so one girl ended up going on to be a doctor because I brought her because she was pre-med, so she had that medical training. So I had a statistician, a process engineer, a doctor, and a JavaScript coder. He wasn't a coder, he was a proper full-blown programmer. He would automate anything. And as well, I had a whole bunch of good SQL guys, good data guys. So all these guys I brought in, they're all students. They're all like first, second year at university. But I just brought them in because their skill sets were what I wanted. And I just mashed them together as one team. And we did a whole bunch of team building stuff and got a really sort of, to the point where even now, a whole bunch of them get together just...
once a year, twice a year, we used to get together, go out for drinks, go out for meals.
Even though you guys live in different
sides of the world.
Like different countries. Yeah, I was at Wasim's wedding last September and caught up with Artie and another one of the lads there. It was just really nice to catch up with everyone every now and then.
That's brilliant.
Really, it was their first, what I would call non-trivial job.
Yeah.
So before that, some of the guys that they'd worked in Sainsbury's or in Tesco's, they'd done stuff which is for them they were just earning money for the sake of earning money. Mm-hmm. This is I think I gave them a job that was the first opportunity to use what they were good at in an environment where they got paid for being good at it. And I think I'd like to think it gave them all an opportunity and helped them develop and became.
And sort of take them outside of academia.
Yeah, it's essentially, I knew they were all academically very good. And I already knew Anoop and Wasim from other social circles, so I knew they were smart. I knew they were able to get on with people. I just thought they just needed the opportunity to put all that academic stuff they've been learning and just actually put it into practice to see what's it like to have to be pragmatic and be practical about what you're learning. It's all very nice in a university, you're learning everything in theory, but to put it into practice is difficult. And so, I thought, the aim was to pull together a team of really clever young kids.
It's just curious because, if you think about the NHS and sort of that side of the industry, you wouldn't imagine this sort of back end of basically engineers that work on these sort of problems. When on the front side, it's okay. There's a med, there's a
the clinical side.
Surgeons, etc.
Midwives and stuff. Yeah.
Well, yeah, absolutely. The NHS is an interesting one, but the more that technologies move forward, the more reliant healthcare is becoming on technology. Back when I started in the NHS, we had PAS systems, and they were old command line systems. I'm now going to talk about mumps databases. These systems that were out of date when I was starting in the NHS. So these are old 1970s technologies, but the NHS has become a lot better at adopting new technologies now. They're still really wary of the cloud. Really wary of the cloud. They don't
like to let go of control of having things on
That's
site.
because of security issues.
Yeah, most
massively.
Information governance and security. The NHS is very, very careful about what it does with people.
No, encryption 2016 should be quite well.
It's not so much that. I think the NHS has this paranoia that no matter how much you encrypt the data, that someone who for some reason has access to the data will use it for something they shouldn't use it for, so therefore they don't want anyone's names or anything. So all they're giving them, even if you've got access to the data, unless you're clinically involved in someone's care, all you're getting is a random number. It's not even their NHS number, so you can't even reverse engineer it back to who they are.
So it's like hashing to information.
It's pseudonymization because it's reversible. So it's not like an MD5 hash which is irreversible. But it's a reversible pseudonymisation, but it allows NHS analysts to do really great data science now. Actually, we'll call it data science. That's what they're starting to do. We've been applying algorithms to data in the NHS for the full sort of 15 years that I've been involved. But in the last year or so, they've started actually calling it data science. But in the last year or so, there are places that are starting to actually apply machine learning and true computer data science techniques. Before that, it was very much down to the skill and the knowledge of the person involved.
Sure.
So writing an algorithm, finding an output, presenting it. The process is the same. Data science, the main thing, the most important thing to get right in data science is the question. You've got to ask the right question.